So I just wanted to point out that this
Please
isn't a
identify
bad-
yourself for the record.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
My name is Ronda Rousey. I actually am a two-time Olympian. I'm the first American to ever win an Olympic medal in judo, and I'm currently the Strikeforce champion, and I actually only began fighting professionally only a year ago. So I'd like to point out that after the Olympics, I spent over a decade becoming very, very good at doing judo so I could represent our country. I won a medal, and I got 10 grand in a handshake, pretty much, and I had no work experience, no education, and a month and a half or so after the Olympics, I had no health insurance, nothing, living in my car. The U.S. Olympic Committee and the National Governing Body of Judo is what I really have complaints about. Now, about a year or so ago, a year and a half, I decided that with the skills that I have, I had very few options available to me, and I wanted to become an MMA fighter. And, there wasn't a big market for women in MMA, but I decided that, I'm going to make myself become valuable to this company. I'm going to make myself something that they need. And they don't even know that they need me. So I took 1 year and I trained as hard as I could, and I took 3 jobs, and I sucked it up. And yeah, there were a couple shows where I only got paid a couple $100, but there were a couple amateur shows where I got paid nothing. But what I got was I got a record and a couple fights where I made myself attractive to this company now. Now I went from not being able to support myself at all, barely, and now I'm fine within a year. And I didn't get that way through bad contracts. This is a performance-based business. You have to make yourself you have to make yourself valuable. I win and I make myself entertaining to watch, and that's why this company pays me. And I just think it's so funny this bill is being presented as if it's something to help the athletes, but what it really would do, it wouldn't help me renegotiate a contract. I would enter in a contract, and I would be, even if I'm happy with it and they're happy with it, and I went and told all my friends, oh my God, I have a USC contract, it's so cool. Someone that I don't know, that doesn't know me anything about my financial situation, could take a look at this contract, say that they don't like it, and instead of helping me renegotiate it, they will pull out the promoter's license. I can't fight in the event at all. I don't get paid anything. I don't get a match. How am I helped at all? This does nothing for me. I don't even think there's a problem, but even the bill itself, even if there is a problem here, this bill does nothing to help solve it. So that's my piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, are there any more questions or anything that you would like to clarify from any of the witnesses? Please, Vice Chair Gaines.
I'd like to ask a current fighter, could you please clarify and tell me how you go about working with the promotion process, how you get a fight,
So they will have to bring one of the current fighters up, please. And actually, you can sit over here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually the only current fighter that's here today.
Someone can make room for another current fighter at the table, please.
Maybe current female fighter here today, the only one.
Yes, more specific. Sorry.
I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you. Please proceed.
What was the question?
Could you please clarify for me, could you describe how you go about, with your promotion company, how you get into a fight?
Well, I started with the smaller shows. So first it was amateur shows. So we would find any kind of promotion that was putting on a show. We would ask if they had any room for me, and then they would say yes, and then we would try and get a matchmaker to find me an opponent. I did this for 3 fights, and I got paid nothing, but I got enough of a resume kind of to get some interest from bigger promoters. So my next fight was, I think my first pro fight was the King of the Cage, and I got paid probably $800. And my next fight, I got paid similarly to that. And then after that, I got picked up by Zuffa through Strikeforce, and they multiplied my salary many, many times. They signed me to a 4-fight deal, and after my first fight, they did not need to re-sign me. They re-signed me again for even more money, just because they thought that I did a very good job. And I would like to ask these other fighters that are so disgruntled with how they've been treated with what their actual record is, because this is a performance-based business. If you're bad at your job, you shouldn't expect people to keep you around to pay you for it.
I think we need to speak to the bill before us. So The next witness, if you can answer that question because you are a current fighter at this time.
Can you repeat that question, please? I just want to make sure I heard it correct.
Can you describe the process, how you get promoted and how you enter into a fight?
I was promoted based on my record. Actually, I probably had one of the longest winning streaks in the history of mixed martial arts. I went undefeated for about 7 to 8 years. I've had over 50 fights, current record on SureDog, which is the database for fighters. I'm somewhere around 29 and 3 and 2.
You said 50.
I had over 50 fights.
Excuse
before.
me.
It was
Please allow the person that has the mic to finish their comments, and then if the vice chair would like to hear from anybody else, she can ask for that. Thank you.
So being that I've had that many fights, I felt that there were certain things that played a role in me not being able to go to bigger and powerful organizations in the fight game based on those things.
So, Madam Vice Chair, do you have any other questions? Would you like to hear any other testimony from anyone else at this point? Please.
Yes, just very quickly, a point of clarification. Mr. McKee, I think, fought one time for the UFC, and so one of his 50 or so fights was with the UFC.
Any other questions from the Vice Chair or comments?
Do you mind getting more specific for me and telling me who negotiates on your behalf?
I have a manager, and I also have a lawyer. My manager is Darren Harvey, and my lawyer is Rod Lindstrom. And so every single contract that I have is looked over by both my manager, me, and my lawyer. We all sit down together, and we read through it. I remember my last contract, actually, I was originally supposed to fight for 15 to fight and 15 to show. And I remember my manager just went and talked to the matchmaker and said, look, this isn't, a couple extra grand is not, a lot of money to you guys, but is to her. Could you please, just add something extra? And so they increased my contract just because. We didn't need to leverage or say, oh, we have this other thing. I do good work for them, and I'm valuable to this company, and they treat me like that. And I have no complaints.
Any other questions, Vice Chair?
Just a comment. Thank you for what you have to say, and it sounds very consistent with what we heard from Matt Hughes, also in negotiating contract. Thank you.
Members, are there any? Thank you, Assemblymember Alejo. First of all, one thing that I would agree with all of you, that this is a sport that is evolving and that there is a lot more equity probably than there was many years ago. The fact that we have women that are excelling in this sport is, I think, a good thing for the sport. I think that the good thing that's coming out of this is that we have had the opportunity to work with both sides to make some amendments to the bill, and I know that you have agreed to accept those amendments, Assemblymember Alejo. And one of the things that you did mention is that you're going to continue to work with the opposition to see if we can get a win-win on this. But I will be supporting the motion, and when somebody makes a motion to move it forward, and we do need a motion and we do need a second. So we have a motion from Member Monning. Do I have a second from anyone on the bill? I will second it for discussion. And with that, we have a first and we have a second. And I will ask the Secretary to call the roll.
Campos?
Aye.
Campos, aye. Gaines?
No.
Gaines, no. Ashajian? Ashajian not voting. Butler? Carter? Carter not voting. Gatto? Gatto, aye. Mendoza? Mendoza, aye. Monning? Aye. Monning, aye. Silva? No. Silva, no. That bill's on call.
So the bill is on call. You need one more, and that's where we're at.
Ms. Butler, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for everyone coming and testifying.
Thank you very much.